As Donald Trump is being held legally accountable for attempting to overthrow our democracy, many of his minions are as well. And it does take a while for this accountability to actually play out, but I want to update you on this when it comes to the Proud Boys, specifically the leader of the Proud Boys, or now a former leader, Enrique Tarrio, has been sentenced the longest sentence of anyone in relation to January 6th, 22 years in prison. And he, of course, was a part of the plotting of very premeditated effort to overthrow our government and keep Trump the president. The Proud Boys had more of a pre-planned goal here than many of the other individuals who end up attacking the Capitol. And so accountability is even more necessary for them. And in this case, Enrique Tarrio, like I said, 22 years in prison. Here from ABC News, a federal judge on Tuesday sentenced former Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio to 22 years in prison, the longest sentence to date handed down for any individual charged in connection with the January 6, 2021 attack, or I should say assault on the U.S. Capitol. Prosecutors sought 33 years in prison, the harshest recommendation yet for someone charged in the DOJ's investigation into January 6th. And then moving along to more Proud Boys, CNN reports a federal judge handed down hefty sentences against two members of the Proud Boys for their role in attacking the Capitol on January 6, 2021, one who broke open a window to the building and another who took over the leadership role of the group that day. Their sentences both among the longest yet of the over 1,000 people charged as part of the riot. And it's good to see that. As I said, sometimes it does take a while for this all to play out, but we've been waiting, especially with some of these individuals, like I said, that really had this horrible plan to overthrow our government in the service of Trump's attempt to keep himself president, making sure that the precedent is set individually, I should say, just for them to be held accountable for their sake, but also the precedent being set for the future that this type of activity is not something that is remotely acceptable, obviously. And then one of the Proud Boys, Dominic Pezzola, as he was leading the court, even though he had told the judge he was a changed man and was trying to portray himself as different, once he was actually sentenced, the judge left the room and he shouted, "Trump won."
10 years. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, this just happened in the past few hours. Dominic Pezzola, also a member of the Proud Boys, sentenced to 10 years. And as he was leaving the courtroom, our reporters who were in the court, they say that he raised up his fist and he said, "Trump won." Now, this was after Judge Timothy Kelly had already left the courtroom. But what's especially interesting about that is that he would do that. Apparently, he thought he had nothing to lose because he'd already been sentenced to the 10 years. But previously, when he stood before the judge, he said, "I am a changed and humble man." And the judge said, "I do believe you turned a corner." But despite all that, after the judge left the courtroom and after the sentencing, he did insist that Trump won, sort of in an act of defiance. So, you know, a lot of conflicting narratives around these Proud Boy members.
It is pretty stunning to think about these people who, because of their obsession with Trump and all of his conspiracy theories and their insistence that Trump won whenever he didn't, have now thrown their lives away. In the case of Enrique Tarrio, 22 years. In the case of Pezzola there, 10 years. A life of negative ramifications because they chose to go down this path of defending Trump to no end and buying into all of his lies. And that is something that honestly I just can't get my head around, being that in a cult for someone who's just a political figure, that you would plan acts of violence and then enact them in the name of that person based on evidence-free allegations of voter fraud and the election being stolen. It is pretty remarkable and quite the moment in American history. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are able to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, plus get the bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership, and there's a link in the description.